Game 2 goes to NRG, and we're now all square with 1 to play. Week 1 of these two facing off, or should I say week 3 of these two facing off, NRG came out on top. Dignitas have got to win this one, otherwise NRG trumped them this split.
NRG allowed Achilles to go through. It was available for themselves if they really wanted to, but Thoth was a little bit important.
But it didn't do anything. After 20 minutes, it didn't do anything.
It's like I mentioned before, it's a great early to mid game god, but late game has that huge fall off. It's very susceptible towards getting hit by all those AoE abilities, and without, like, the sustain is existent for him,
sure,
but you can't really rely on it on keeping you alive. You're more looking at that ability towards giving you protections, towards giving you extra damage, and that's what Achilles' strength is, doing damage and then dying after.
I mean, it is the very first time we saw Achilles, though, so we'll find out going forward the rest of the week how Achilles plays out. I think a lot of the commentators are of the opinion of the first 20 minutes, he's very strong, if not too strong. After that, though, he completely starts to fall to the wayside in terms of what he can bring to a team. Seket, Giannis, Nuwa, and Kronos band away too, which will once again give Yamin that Thoth that he has loved so far this time.
Doing very well with it, and the beautiful thing about Thoth is, even if you're behind, Thoth is still going to be very powerful being able to defend. If you thought Zeros' triple kill at the Titan was going to be impressive, wait till you see what Yamin can do on the Thoth if he ever gets behind.
Well, this time round, Dignitas is going to take the Nemesis for themselves to make sure Adapting doesn't get hold of that this time round. And pair that with the Soul, which more than likely will go to Zeros in the mid lane, something that he is a big proponent of playing.
So the way metas kind of go up and down and shift towards best of threes is things kind of become heavily prioritized. Going from 9th pick in game number 2 now to 4th pick in game number 3, this Sobek is a great addition. I'm surprised still that NRG pick up the Terra, though, over the Athena. I think Sobek, Athena worked really well for them, but I think the Terra is still going to be at the nice touch.
Definitely an interesting one. Whenever NRG pick up this Terra, they go with the Ares. They like the Ares matchup against Terra. It's not too bad against Sobek either, realistically, apart from, obviously, Lurking the Waters can cancel that no escape. Obviously, we're not in the latest patch just yet, boys and girls, so Ares won't be ulting you through walls just yet, for the love of God.
Just yet. And Terra's blessing still going to be that global ultimate, not going to be that relic kind of buff/debuff. Mercury banned by Dignitas. That's a surprising one.
Yeah, as well as the Raven, so trying to limit what Adapting can bring. I don't think the Mercury's really that surprising, though, Tully. I mean, Adapting's a fantastic player with Mercury, one of his original ones. And when you look at the lineup, they need some assassin damage here, it feels like.
That's true.
Maybe they want him back on that Kamazots, because he didn't make an impact on it last time he played it.
That's very true. I believe that it was Nemesis actually being played by Kivo Fred in game number 1 that outdid him. Honor is the selection for Emilito. I like this addition because you got a Monolith wall blocker, now you got the Obelisk wall blocker, which also has great amount of slows.
It's good for Ares' Anher. That's the big reason. Ares kind of has a little bit of trouble against the Anher just because the Impale can knock him away when he's trying to chains, and then Desert Fury to cancel out the ultimate, so you don't have to use your beads. It will be Dodgy this game, who's fallen from grace after her nerfs, but she's still viable and still getting picked.
She's still very flexible.
Yeah.
She's going to be able to get in and out of combat very easily with that level 1 blink that a lot of junglers like to go. Hachiman is going to be that last pick selection for Dignitas. Not surprised.
No real surprise at all. Who's your money on then for game 3, Tolly? Because this is a close one.
This is actually
Do or
really
die.
close.
Oh, you don't know.
I like the Nemesis for Dignitas, but man, Yamin on the Thoth is looking really good.
It is. Well, you don't have to decide. He's
I'm
going to go
gonna
dig. The casters are standing by to bring us game 3. Who's going top of Europe?
Well, the Ares is back. I like to see that. I think it fits Trickstank a little bit better than the Terra.
Yeah, but at the same time, man, NRG's draft looks so good. And Sobek has won both games so far.
True.
I feel like Sobek is one of, if not the best solo laner right now. I mean, he just does it all for you that you could really want. I think Maniac getting that pick plus the Dodgy for Adapting. She got nerfs. I don't care. It's still Adapting. He's still going to murder people with it and look really good. I really feel like NRG came out on top in the draft.
The draft is only what speaks in the beginning. It's all about what happens on the battlefield. Game 3 here, the rubber match against these two. Excuse me. We watched them earlier, and NRG wound up on top, but it only took them 2 games, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Here, they stretched out to the 3rd one. Who's going to win? We're asking you because we don't actually know. So let us know in Mixer Chat who's going to take this one because, like I said, I think it's anyone's ball game.
And even though I think that NRG got away with the better draft, it's the other side for Dignitas also looks really, really good. I mean, you got the Nemesis Soul combination in the mid lane, plenty of slows and plenty of setups. Zero's going to be able to make some hero-type plays on that Soul and be the guy for them. Plus, as you mentioned, that Ares pick, pretty good against the Thoth, against the Terra, even against that Sobek. Plenty of targets that you want to cripple out. Now, is Trixtank going to be able to hit those targets and still stay alive? Because he got ahead in game 1 and was able to itemize in a pretty fun way. I wonder if he's going to be able to do the same because this time around on her for Emilito, that's a much better early pressure god than what we've seen him on in the first 2 games of the set.
Absolutely. Watching the players sort of switch things around, like you said, the earlier on her, I think, is just to fight in this dual lane.
Well, it's also because that Desert's Fury is on such a low cooldown that you can use it as purification beads. And, well, also returning a ton of damage on a Trixtank. I mean, Ares is pretty immobile, not quite rooted when he's trying to pull everyone in with no escape, but you should be able to hit just about all of your on-her spears if you're Emilito on a target like that. So I think that this is the perfect pick into the Ares. I love the adjustment by NRG.
I agree. I really, after you kind of paint it in that light, I think the on-her is a perfect selection here. Will it hurt them late game is the question, because we kind of noted that these 2 teams specifically, whether it's a league-wide thing or not, have identified that Hunters are sort of the late-game carries and have picked because of it. I mentioned Cyclone Spain picking up the Shibalanke repeatedly, and here we saw Kronos's and Rams basically in game 1 and 2. So
yeah, I mean, on her is just not going to be as good late game as Kronos. There's no 2 ways about that. But at the same time, I feel like this composition from NRG has such a better chance of getting off to a rocket start in the early game where they can get a lead. And, it's not like not every game's going to 42 minutes. It's not like the average game time isn't like that. Late game's important, yes, but you're able to make plays and win in the early game like you have been able to in the past. It's not like you can only play for the late. So I think this composition for NRG has a nice balance of both.
Average game time this season in Europe is about 29. So we'll see if that is reflected here in this one or not. Teams have been, and I think it's funny watching the higher end teams end quicker.
You seem to do a pretty good job of it, and that's just the map control now. There was so much talk about Season 5 and how it's not as bad getting invaded because your buffs are up sooner, but against a really, really good team that's going to be all over you, that just means they get to take it again faster than they used to be able to, and teams have been able to adjust to that and either use that to their advantage or use it as an advantage on the defensive side and just say we can give up a little bit more than we used to without immediately falling into a hole we can't climb out of.
Here on the Sobek this time around, Maniac. This is one of his stronger picks, but he's going up against a Kakulin, character that has kind of fallen out of favor recently for seemingly no reason.
On the left-hand side, Zero's in a bit of trouble, but he's got that Disapparate. Damage onto Zeros instead of Cubo Fred because of the double dash, and it's not going to end up mattering too much. Yeah, we have seen a little bit less Kakulin these days, and I really feel like it's because the Guardians have started to take over that solo lane pretty heavily. I mean, you can bully out Sobek all you want, you're just not going to kill him, and he's not going to care, and he's going to come into the late game and do more than you, and that's why I think that Sobek is so strong in that solo lane right now. At the same time, Cerberus has also been in that spot. I think that's just kind of what we're seeing more of. The team fight control seems to be what solo laners really want these days, and Kakulin can bring that, but doesn't always bring it as much as, say, a Cerberus, a Sobek, or even something like the tier that we've seen a lot of out of Splice and Divios brings excellent team fight control. Kakulin has the potential to do that, but it's not always consistent. If you can't find the rage transformation, he's not really doing a whole lot in those big team fights.
Kakulin seems more like a Nike in that respect, where he's impossible to kill, but his control is lackluster in comparison to some of the other selections here. Still, I wouldn't mind seeing Nike. Left side, NRG just going to clean themselves up here. No invade so far. We saw Adapting kind of sniffing around on the right side, but chased out by Cubo Fred. And so nobody will be eaten off the opponent's table so far.
And a lot of the reasons why we see more Guardians in the solo lane these days is because junglers have been focusing much more heavily on mid and left. There's where before it was just gank solo all day, every day, and we'll get a lead over there. I wonder if it's worth Cubo trying to do that in this match, is just hang on that right-hand side, get variety ahead. Doesn't need to be a massive lead, but get a kill early on that right side and make it happen.
Well, the pings are on the left side right now, and Trixtank Pillar Impaled. Really? Really, guys? Thank you. Emilito puts first blood on the board for NRG after playing with their food, quite literally. That wasn't missed abilities or anything.
No,
I was watching him walk in the sand.
Honestly, it was a little scary because Trix had blink and could have potentially blinked out, but minions were on him because of his aggression onto the enemy god, so ends up working out.
There's that ultimate. Emilito won't find Arco with many of the spears, so Team Dignitas' Hunter. Pretty fine, clean and clear. Emilzy on the Terra, more of a punishment than a setup character here, at least in this duo lane. So both guys will back from NRG, and that'll give Dignitas a little bit of breathing room here.
But you already see the early aggression paying off for NRG, the first blood going over to Emilito, and I like that NRG actually holds the kill for Emilito to get. If it's adapting getting that, that's fine. Rather not give it to Emilzy, but it's obviously better than dropping that first blood at all. But if I'm on NRG, I'm probably happiest with giving it over to Emilito, because if he can get an early lead in this lane and be that bully and be that aggressor and really punish this Ares pick, that's what I really think this On Her is designed to do, is not necessarily take the 1v1 up against Arco, though he can do that if he so chooses. It's really about making sure that Trix is getting, you know, all of the aggression thrown onto him. That pillar slow is so hard for Ares to deal with. He might need to go for an early wing blade to even deal with that. But at the same time, you don't want to do that against, you know, adapting or Yemen. You need the protection and help.
Well, here we see different build coming out from Trix Tank, not looking for the pen boots, instead going the Traveler's boots, understanding that he might be focused a little bit more, and that'll put him down in the early game. Interesting side effect, however. Arco got that wave since Trix Tank was dead. Arco got that wave by himself. He's about half a level above Emilito now. So he does have a little bit of his own lead.
Great blink there. Mealsy's going to get pulled under tower. Doesn't have the beat this time around, and the turnaround is pretty good, but it's Cubo Fred who ends up falling to Yemen's hand. Trix's going to get pulled back in, but not a ton of follow-up left as Yemen has already used that ultimate. Mealsy looks like he was in some serious trouble, but man, that damage on a Cubo Fred came out of nowhere.
Big play from adapting there, making sure to follow up onto essentially the follow-up. Dignitas grabbed the player, expecting there to be two different damage dealers, but adapting took care of one of them, so it was just a little bit of damage from Zeros that was coming out there. Nice heads-up play from adapting. Again, not looking for the kill, just looking to provide peel by way of damage.
And just not enough damage from Zeros quite yet. Only got that Book 2, wasn't able to finish off the full, or the Boots 2, excuse me, wasn't able to finish off the full pen boots like he has now. If those are pen boots done for Zeros, Mealsy is toast underneath that tower, but it's not quite enough gold to pick up the necessary item. Also got to give credit where it's due to Mealsy's boot selection. I mean, those reinforced shoes gives him that extra bit of protection. It kept him out of the CC a little bit longer, and especially when you're getting hit by the chain ticks and the flame ticks and the little incremental damages that Dignitas has, that passive from the boot stacks up very quickly and makes you much tankier much early.
Different choice here for the Hunter on Arco here with the Transcendence Tier 2. We've seen Devo gloves from both Hunters every time they could purchase it.
This time Arco going for the bigger damage. It tells me that Arco's not going for crit this time around, that he's going to change it up and go for the penetration build and go for that big power so that the Odysseus bow ends up being a little bit more beneficial to him. Maybe Emo wants to stick with the crit style. He's been doing exactly what Arco has been going for, so it seems like the European Hunters think they're onto something with straying away a little bit from the big power and pen build, instead going back to the way days of old when crit was still the prominent build.
Well, I mean, when you look at where Hunters are at right now, and they're like, we've kind of identified they're only really strong late. That's the only time they get to shine. I mean, crit is what's going to enable that. You just have to play around the Nemean and the Thorns. Thorns did get looked at. It's 5 seconds instead of 6. And frankly, if I can inject my personal opinion here real quick, Thorns needs to exist to keep crit in check, right? So, blink away from Trix Tank.
Twice.
NRG just coalescing here on the left side, keeping Trix Tank in check.
It's twice now that Trix has actually blinked out of the Trickster Spirit sound cue from adapting. If Dodgy teleports to you, it's an auto-lock ability. She's going to hit you unless you use a leap or a blink or something that'll disjoint you from the map. It actually will prevent that teleport from happening, and that's twice now that Trix has done it. And it's impressive, and it keeps him safe, but at the same time, he's using a relic in response to a regular cooldown from Dodgy.
Yeah, kind of rough there. Emilito tagged up by some of the damage from the banner. Arco going to play this one on the back foot, but pretty much no problem here. Lack of action as we're almost 10 minutes in here. NRG trying to slow roll this one out. And Dignitas also willing to do so. Zeros doesn't have his big power item online just yet. Just the Crusher online for Kivo Fred. So I think both of these teams are kind of willing to wait it out. Kivo Fred likely to make moves once he finishes his third item. We'll see where that one decides to wind up. But I'm not too concerned watching these guys slow roll it, Ryan. I think they're kind of expected to because of their builds in their drafts.
Exactly. I mean, Yaman, again, is just allowed to get to Warlock staff without any pressure onto him at all. And again, Zeros doesn't go for that build, so if he wants to pick up a Warlock staff later, it's going to take him a long time in order to stack it up. So Yaman wants to play it slow in the early game. It's adapting this time. We'll be able to find the damage on a Trick Tank. Terra's Blessing used as well, and adapting just going to pull him back in, but it forces out the ult for ult, chain for chain. But Trick's still going to get chased down.
And then Melito, they're both here. The ultimate comes out. The spears are good, but now Melito going to be punished. The ultimate from Nemesis, not quite the slice and dice for the follow-up. So just a little bit of that one. Number 3 for NRG. Dignitas, scoreless.
Man, even with Variety rotating over, Dignitas didn't want to continue that chase because Yaman was going to beat Zeros to that mid lane fight, and Yaman's level 11 right now in a really, really good spot. Has been farming up very, very nicely in that mid lane thus far.
So adapting here, not 3 kills, 3 assists, but certainly has been the saboteur of Team Dignitas for right now as he continues sort of his reign of terror. Kivo Fred has been able to keep up, but I want to see adapting make more of those plays. I really enjoy how he's putting pressure on NRG's dual lane, and I think just keep trucking. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're not winding up with the kills, but who cares?
I mean, he's been trying to, but it's Trix Tank continues to blink away. That time Trix didn't have the blink, and adapting finds him and kills him for it. So you can see why Trix has been willing to expend that relic to make sure that he doesn't get hit by that Trickster Spirit.
Taking that blink also a positive. It's
absolutely.
One less tool. Blink Ares is kind of, I won't say dependent on that blink.
It's like peanut butter and jelly.
Sure.
You know, you can have jelly. No one really wants to eat a jelly sandwich, but you can have a peanut butter sandwich.
I mean,
and it'd be good.
I don't mind Jelly by himself. He's a fine player.
Hey, he retired, okay? We don't talk about him anymore. No, okay, wait. Does anyone actually eat jelly sandwiches? Like, just plain jelly sandwiches? 'Cause that's kind of gross.
I think that's like
That's like if you're 8 years old and really need sugar.
Exactly. It's like, I was going to say, it's like unchecked sugarness going on there. Gold Fury unchecked so far by Team Dignitas. The ultimate's piling in. And NRG able to pick that one up nice and easy. Turning Gold Fury to mulch. 2,600 for NRG.
I'm going to be honest. I think I prefer peanut butter sandwiches without jelly. And I know it's an unpopular opinion, but peanut butter sandwiches are just really good. And then you don't get as sticky. Like, it's just a little bit cleaner.
I was going to surprise a lot of you guys. I don't like sweet stuff. I don't like
I'm
jelly.
right there with you.
I don't like getting sticky.
Yeah, I just don't think it's worth it.
Dignitas getting sticky here as NRG trying to jam him up. Nice move from Maniac. He cuts himself down just a little bit. Dignitas a little bit aggressive, looking for this blue buff, at least positioned like it. But they're walking all over these wards.
This is where the aggression should be, is on this right-hand side where you have the Cucullin, but you just don't have it the kill potential. Even at level 12, I mean, he's actually down a little bit in XP to Maniac, and that kind of window of Sobek sitting under tower and can't really do anything is already gone.
Yeah.
That's why I think we aren't seeing as much of this pick, because the pressure is there, but the rotation is good. The early game damage from the Warriors not like it used to be, and the tankiness really isn't there either. So you just can't build your entire team comp around, well, we'll just get our solo big and win the game.
A big part of it also was at the very high level, you got to see the players utilize the transformation and the multiple abilities. Can I just say I'm happy to see less Cucullin? Is that allowed?
Yeah, you're allowed to say whatever you want.
Well, let me tell you, I feel okay. Anything I want, really?
Yeah, this is a safe space. We're chilling.
I maintain that Takeover was the better song than Ether. Y'all could talk about Nas, but absolutely Jay-Z had the better answer.
I respect your opinion and know nothing about it, and so have very little to contribute to this conversation. But I'm glad you told me.
Conversation you can contribute to. Hindu Man just walked past the window and said he eats jelly sandwiches.
Hindu eats jelly sandwiches?
I'm not surprised.
Is that some European stuff?
No, I think it's just Hindu man.
That's weird, man.
That's what he eats in his little fire giant hovel.
Oh, okay. I mean, he just hoards all the jelly in there.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I just think that straight peanut butter sandwiches, especially crunchy peanut butter, oh, so good.
It brings the protein. It's got the electrolytes. It's what plants crave. You know?
Yeah, something like that. It also goes great with milk. Peanut butter sandwich and milk, really good. Because the milk will cut through the peanut butter and how sticky it makes your entire mouth feel.
I was lactose intolerant as a kid. I couldn't drink much milk.
But you're over it now?
Actually, yes.
That's awesome.
It really is.
That's good news.
I just kept eating pizza and mac and cheese until I got so sick I stopped being sick.
Outplayed yet again, the digestive system.
NRG looking for the Pyromancer here as Team Dignitas filters in. Variety going to get stunned out, no problem, and Emilito will be the one tanking the minor objective. Half HP so far on it, now down to 25%, and Maniac can lurk in the waters to make sure nobody from Dignitas even thinks about it. But I've got to be honest with you, Ryan, that's a lot expended for the minor objective. I guess the Gold Fury's down, so no big deal, but still.
But NRG needed to get it because they were letting Arco get this tier 1 tower on left without any sort of pressure onto him because of it, so you need to make sure that objective is going your way. Plus, with the pace of this game, is NRG really going to fight in the next 90 seconds? Probably not. I mean, Yemen's got a little bit of CDR with the Mage's Blessing. Maniac's got 20% and 30% actually between the Breastplate of Valor and the Shoes of Focus, so a lot of investment, agreed, but I'm not sure that NRG's going to need to withdraw anytime soon anyways.
That's fair. 16 minutes and just 3 kills, all of which have been pink. Dignitas have not found a single kill in this contest.
Spread out a little bit. Trix Tank with 2 of those deaths. Cuvo Fred with 1. And wonder if this is the time right around now. I mean, Cuvo Fred has finished off that Heartseeker, but Adapting has as well. Zero's working towards that Soul Gem, but Yemen's already got that Divine Ruin. Usually those power spike items that we like to see teams fight around, NRG, even with having a team composition that does well in the late game, is still in a good spot right now.
Right now. We're going to take a break from the action. 3 kills in total for NRG, as we just said. And Team Dignitas really just letting NRG slow roll it here. They're down about 2,500 gold. And as they shift into this late game, I mean, we got to find the window for Dignitas because right now they haven't really hit the gas whatsoever.
And Arkill's also slowed down his build. He actually went for a Magi's Cloak right after the boots and the Transcendence were done. Really worried about the potential CC. And look, I get it. NRG has plenty of it between the Sobek and the Soul Lane. Adapting's going to try and pull you in with the Powwow. Yemen can stun you. Emilzy can stun you. Even Emilito can stun you. Plenty of CC. So the Magi's makes sense to me. But at the same time, you really are saying, okay, now we really can't fight. Because not only is the Unhurt better than me at this stage of the game anyways, just because of the kit and what he has, but his itemization is far better than what the Hachiman is going to bring at this point.
At the same time, I absolutely love the Magi's Cloak because this is identifying the hand that you're dealt. We've got a game that there's 3 kills in 16 minutes, and I ain't buying an Urchin anytime soon in this game. Instead, investing in the Magi's Cloak, understanding that Daji is jungle Ares, essentially. 16 and a half, and we're right here in the middle lane, aggressing into the tower. NRG fighting into it, but Emilzy's going to get pulled by Trix Tank. Maniac with the right side flank pops up and takes Variety down to about 50%. Emilito used the ultimate earlier on. Emilzy's is on cooldown, but Zero still has Supernova. So the defense of this mid lane tower, it's all Dig.
Man, that Aegis from Zeros was critical. Yemen was on the market. It certainly would have been enough for the final judgment to bring down his mid lane opposition, but Zeros quick on the trigger. And even though he's a little bit low right now, has that sustain built in. A little bit of lifesteal from the Soul Gem, but mostly from that Radiance. This could be a Gold Fury pull by Dignitas. They're the only ones with an ultimate, but no, looks like they'd rather go back to base and continue to play it slow. And now, NRG just watched a couple members back in the mid lane. Maybe they want to go for Gold Fury.
Well, Arkle and Trix Tank are here, so is it the full team back that nobody likes? Splitting it up just a little bit, so Arkle would have been able to defend. NRG not going to go for it just yet. Still just 2,000 gold in the lead. Dignitas getting that stop in the middle lane is really important. Not for any particular stats. Sure, 500 gold and a place to fall back with the Gold Fury is all well and good. The stop from Dignitas is important because it's almost like a damage check. We see that from mid laners a lot, Ryan. As a team, They now identify what they can fight into.
Exactly. You have it. I mean, everyone knows about how much damage they're going to do, but it never hurts to get that little bit of confirmation or, oh, you know, they went for a different build. Maybe I need to reevaluate how much damage I'm going to go for. And even with Trixtank getting a pretty decent ultimate there, it just didn't really come to fruition because it didn't get Yaman or Emilito's beads out. Emilito just got to use the ultimate. It pulled Emilzy under tower, but he still had the shell and was able to survive. And another reason why the Game 1 team composition worked so well is because Sobek was there to chase out Relics consistently. That was there to punish Yaman for using beads if he uses it on Trixtank's ult, or Trixtank is there to punish him if he uses it for variety. Dignitas just doesn't have that same beads burner on this team, and so it's going to be hard for Trix to find those pulls.
NRG looking less for the Gold Fury than they are looking for the fight. Arco going to wrap around the entirety of NRG, aggressed onto Trixtank, and with the ultimate, going to take him down. Yaman gets credit for it. Or Adapting gets credit for it, but Yaman's ultimate is on cooldown. Adapting uses his to find Cubo, Fred, who's got no chance to survive. Make your time. And NRG, with a couple of kills underneath their belt, look for the Gold Fury. Maniac zoning players all the way back to the Harpies. And this Gold Fury already halfway done. Emilzy zoning out Arco, and here comes Yaman. That should send Arco packing. NRG basically have this one.
Well, but Variety's here, and he's got that ultimate. That's going to force the reset from Emilito. Finds 3 with the knockup, but not enough rage to find the transformation. Adapting just picks off zeros in the mid lane, and Arkil needs to be very careful. So has that Aegis available, but now so low that there's no way to contest it. NRG juggle the team fight and the Gold Fury beautifully. Find a couple kills, 3 there in that little skirmish, and the Gold Fury on top of it. And again, it just comes back to, for me, I just don't think Dignitas' team composition works particularly well together. There's not a lot of hard CC to force the beads for Ares. Trixtank's going to have a hard time pulling everybody, and there's not a lot of without variety there right next to him. There's no dissuading NRG from just going all in onto the support. That's what counters Ares better than anything else. And I know it's kind of like a meme, right? Well, how do you play against Ares? You kill him. Sure, you can kill anybody. But Ares is very susceptible to getting killed and doesn't do a whole lot to stop you from killing him. And Trixtank there just gets pinned beautifully by Emilito and is set up and surrounded by NRG. And that starts off the whole engagement in NRG's favor.
Here's why I'm not a coach. I would have put Nem solo and grabbed a Hunbats. I love the Ares Hunbats combination. I really do.
Enough to put Nem solo for someone not named Kiki.
I think Nem solo is a sleeper pick. Zero's going to be put to sleep. Nice Aegis to protect him from the follow-up damage, and patience for Adapting in that last team fight as Pyromancer goes the way of NRG, and Variety likely to go the same direction. Ultimate from Emilito confirming it. Adapting hid in the side Harpies. Emil's going to chase Arkle off the tier 2 tower. So long, Zero set and said, look, I can't rotate. I'm stuck in the middle lane. And Adapting waited for him to say, well, Adapting's clearly doing something else. He's definitely not still here. And then the second Adapting stepped out of lane into the jungle, he got smoked. It was just patience from Adapting just sitting there going, all right, Zeros, when he rotating? All right, dude, when he rotating?
And he's allowed to do that because of the control that NRG had around the Gold Fury pit. They didn't need Adapting to be there. He's just making sure that nothing funny happens.
Oh.
Very close for Trix.
And he knows it.
That's one of those where he goes, ooh.
Yep.
It scares him a little bit, you know?
Oh, man. Trix is a...
As the gambler himself would call it, squeaky bum time.
Yes. That is... Oh, well, that one's going to hurt. Arkle able to get away. That's something... So, Fire Giant position control by NRG. Dignitas filtering in here. Interesting. The pluck cut short thanks to a chain from Trix. Really nice interaction there. The first time Hindu said that on broadcast, I thought he, cursed. I thought it was a thing you shouldn't say.
Well, there's a lot of things that Hindu Man gets to say on broadcast because of Hindu armor that we can't say.
Right, but squeaky bum time just sounds like something that's not okay, but it is a very common phrase in UK sports.
Wait, is it really?
Yes, it is.
I thought it was just like a classic Hindu Manism.
No, it's like, getting down to the wire. They say it like every football game. You like that one?
That was good.
I gave the Europeans a nod.
Yeah, because the NFL goes over and plays a couple games in London every year.
You nice are the ignorant American that they all hate.
No, I truly enjoy soccer. I do. I just had to meme a little.
Ooh, Variety getting memed right here, right side, and he's got Love Potion number 9. NRG. Singing their own tune here, man. Dignitas shut out so far in 23 minutes of play in a set that looked like Dignitas was resurging from, I mean, they're doing fine this season. They're not sleepy at all, but Dignitas looked like what my point is that they lost against NRG last time around, and I thought that they had the juice. This time here, though, game 3, NRG bringing it all out against Team Dignitas. Fire Giant, 50%. Adapting here, nobody from NRG, even local.
Dignitas has no intention of trying to steal it away. Instead, they're just going to give NRG a Fire Giant for free without any sort of contest. Cuvo just looking for some farm, and he needs it desperately, sitting at 0 and 3. 3 levels down. Adapting's already up to level 20. Adapting really going aggressive with the build. That 4th item, Transcendence, just saying, I want power, and this gives me more power than anything else.
I love this build. I've always loved I've always wanted to love 3rd item Transcendence in the jungle, and when they added CDR to it, I thought it was the perfect 3rd item for most junglers. But what prevents it from being the perfect 3rd item is the 3-item suite. The Crusher, Boots, Heartseeker, like Trim Variety is so important for these characters that 4th item Transcendence, yes please, that's where it belongs, because you need those 3 items. Finish it up with a Bloodforge. Adapting, I'm afraid of this guy right now. 4-0-5, sitting number 2 in the player, number 3 in the player damage, and this guy has just been on fire with the fire hands.
And that's what Dodgy does. Like I said, they get this last pick. I know it took some nerfs fairly recently, but who cares? Adapting's still going to make it happen.
Right side, Team Dignitas group up as 5. They didn't take the Fire Giant fight, and they're not going to take this one. Now, NRG identify it, and they've done something really cool where they spread out, and they're going to get double what Team Dignitas gets. So it's not even just 1 for 1. It's 2 for 1 if they can do this right. But Emilito doesn't have the damage.
Takes a little bit longer, but NRG still will get both Tier 1 and Tier 2, but Dignitas had 0 intention of defending either of those anyways. So I really like that. In fact, I think I would have rather seen Dignitas actually keep pushing, because NRG was still taking a lot of time on the left-hand side, and they would have needed to group as 5 in order to blow up a Phoenix at the same speed. Plus, Dignitas' composition is just better at killing Phoenixes. They've got Hachiman and Soul. So I really feel like Dignitas may have been able to get a Phoenix in that situation, or at least force NRG back and try and fight them if necessary.
Adapting to the blink on top of Trick's tank, and
see ya.
He gone.
As soon as Adapting got there, Trix knew he was dead, didn't even use the ultimate, and this is the window that NRG wanted. This mid Phoenix is going to be next. Look at that damage. It's already dead.
Easy peasy for NRG so far. Now, coming in here, the ultimate's off. Emilito takes care of zeros, and Team Dignitas still have a 0. Shut out so far. NRG not going for the win here. Dignitas now fighting into it, trying to change that goose egg. Variety knocked up just a little bit, popping the thorns. Left side Phoenix is the target for NRG.
They've got plenty of damage. We just saw how quickly it went down in the mid lane. Left side Phoenix is next. Maniac able to escape before he gets reported for feeding by his team. NRG get mid and left, and only 2 kills. And Dignitas should seem to be very hesitant in this game. They've been hesitant since the very beginning. Even though it was a slower start, it was just kind of NRG pushing forward and pushing forward and pushing forward, and Dignitas just kept taking steps back. And then you realize that you've been backed into a corner, your back's against the rope, and you've got no more wiggle room, and that NRG just goes to town.
Team Dignitas right now need to find a way back into it. Variety looks like he's going to be split pushing on the left side. Wants to finish off that Tier 1 tower. Adapting is in the neighborhood, but we'll see how long he stays there. Fire Giant taken down by NRG. Should be up here in about a minute 20.
Plenty of time to just make sure this right wave is pushed. I like what Variety's doing, pushing that left fire wave all the way back towards the Tier 2 of NRG, and Maniac's job is just going to be to make sure that wave is pushing around the same time that NRG will look to after this Fire Giant. You want to make sure that your waves are pushing simultaneously, because like we almost saw in game 2, the enemy team gets too distracted, they could just lose the game to fire minions alone.
Yeah, pretty much.
You got to clear those fire minions, or you will lose the game.
That is very true. That is very true. 28 here. And 11 kills total for NRG. Team Dignitas is still a 0. I'm not talking about their mid lane. Aggro liked that joke. He told that to me earlier.
No, I didn't. Hey, I own all my bad jokes. All right? If you're going to say it, you got to be willing to hold it. Don't try and put it on me.
I'm putting it on you.
No way. Because I would have laughed. You know when I came up with my own stupid joke because I think it's super funny. And either give you the Tully grin or I just start laughing outright.
That's true. Actually, while we have a moment, I want to give a shout out on something that we're trying to push here. We have a tweet going out right now celebrating our own Anatoly and his likeness to CBS hit drama Criminal Minds' very own SSA David Rossi. We've tweeted at Joe Montagna, the actor, and asked him if we could use his likeness. So if you guys could go in and support that with a big old retweet, that'd be really solid for us here at the studios.
Maybe there's an SPL fan out there who knows Joe Montagna personally.
That'd be fantastic. I mean, that would be the dream. Really, really would like that.
I almost said that I do, but then I remembered I was thinking of Anatoly and not SSA David Rossi.
I mean, it's easy to confuse the two. That's why we're getting there. Right here, Dignitas, no confusion. They've got to play defense. Right side tower, Phoenix, will be the target. All 5 members of NRG alive, healthy, ultimate, and Fire Giant. Variety surging forward. Yaman's ultimate is going to be off the mark, but here comes Trickstang, searching out the beads and getting them. Maniac is ultimately going to make the first move, cutting down the mid lane. Humo Fred answers back, taking care of Emilito. That's a big kill, but Maniac from around the backside. Why is he there? That's why he's there. The double kill for the Maniac, and what a play it was.
Man, at least Dignitas gets on the board, right? They get 1 kill, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to save their base. Tricks finds some ice chains on a Yaman, but not enough damage onto him. Arkil can't close the gap. Maniac finds his 3rd kill in the fight as Arkil now forced back by Yaman's damage.
Maniac is incredible. Variety here trying to play defense by himself. Arkil going back to base to heal up. We'll be ready for the onslaught, but it's just him. Arkil versus the world. Zeros did it last time. Wowie did it a couple of months ago. Can he do it here in the Titan room? Already aggressing on is NRG. That one Phoenix has respawned, so it's just the middle one. Here comes Arkil. I don't think he has the damage. Ayajutsu comes in. Zeros is here, but it's a little bit too late. Zeros shows up, gets a kill, but that be that. 16-2 in a half hour of play, and NRG take the set.
Man, and a dominant game 3 from them as well. I mean, the only 2 kills that Dignitas got were on that final siege into the Titan room. Dignitas just never felt like they were on the offensive in that 3rd game, and we talk about it all the time. I know I bring it up consistently. The teams that are able to set their own pace and be the aggressors, force the enemy team to respond to you instead of executing their own game plan, it almost always works out better for you, and NRG just did that better in game 3.
Troublesome stuff. I didn't have enough of there weren't enough beads burners here on the side of Team Dignitas. Ares wasn't able to do what he wanted, so he won't be the MVP. But let us know out there in Mixer Chat who you think the most valuable player was in this set. How about you?
Adapting. Easy. Open and shut.
Sometimes it's just that simple. We'll look at it a little bit in depth. It's Hindu, and it's Tully.
Yeah, thanks, Tom and Aggro. That was a very interesting set. Soul-destroying game 3 for Dignitas, Tully. Honestly, they looked like a magician's assistant. NRG just kept making them disappear.
Yeah, just caught in the box and couldn't get back out for the illusions. Like, when's the trick going to end? But no, they actually disappeared. It was a superior draft and composition from NRG in game number 3. We noticed how Sobek kind of slowly crept inside this meta as it was prioritized a little bit earlier. Maniac piloting it, I think, what really led to the success from NRG.
Yeah, fantastic work from NRG there in game 3. Game 2, game 1, a lot closer, a bit of more back and forth action, but from the outset there, NRG just didn't let up their pace. There was only 1 death, which was Emilito, and as Aggro was saying, MVP for this game is adapting.
I mean, he picked Daji last for NRG, 9th pick overall. We've seen this happen every now and then where certain gods kind of crept back into the meta, where Thoth, Giannis, Nuwa, Chronos, so like there's so many gods that are starting to creep up there, which leaves some of the assassins, and adapting will definitely take this one.
Aggressive assassins is one you want to see adapting on. The likes of him and Kivo Fred, like, give him aggressive all the time. Kamazots can fit in that picture totally, but not to the same level as the likes of a Daji, a Circuit, you know?
You need a small window just to take out a Soul, and Daji's the only window you really need with all that burst fire. Also, Kakulin for variety didn't really provide to be fruitful whatsoever for Dignitas, whereas Sobek is always going to do Sobek things in the late game. He's just going to control team fights way better.
It was just constant aggression. And Dignitas, at certain points in this game, you realize they'd been broken in Game 3, and there was just no real way back in. They couldn't even walk up to where Tier 1 towers used to be without getting collapsed on by 2, 3, 4 members. Example here.
That's right, and Trixtank playing this Ares was caught out in so many several occasions. The mobility with Terra's Blessing, it didn't allow any sort of positioning advantage for Trixtank to catch people with the change, catch people with the ultimate as well, to be able to burn those beads that were so important for him. And more importantly was also Emilito playing the on her was a very safe pick into the Ares.
It's back to the drawing board for Dignitas then after suffering 2 defeats to NRG every single time. You can have a look at the standings next as well and see exactly how they all now look. NRG top of the shop at 5-1, their first time at the top of the leaderboards. With a clear lead right now, Telly, but still rival, and other teams still have games to play this week.
That's true. NRG at the top for now, only losing to rival. NRG taking both of their sets against Dignitas, so putting themselves above and beyond that team.
Yeah, very excited to see how NRG are going to continue into the year, though, because they're off to a great start. I do feel like Dignitas' bogey team really is NRG, though. Like, they seem to lose every time to them.
It feels that way. Maybe just getting flashbacks at the end of Season 4.
Well, next up today, we're going to have Obey up against SK Gaming. That'll be on right after this break.
Coming